So if you didn't catch our commercial about Michelle's Place, we're trying to raise money for that. So please donate at beatsandEatsCharities.com before February 14th. That is our deadline to reach our goal. But please make a donation to help fight breast cancer. Really important cause that we're trying to get behind. So please help us out there. Now, let's go to the Twitter bag. We got your questions on Twitter.
Reach into it.
We got a few here we picked for the show. So first is from our friend Quats. He asks if each of us to pick one Celtics player that we think is most likely to be moved by the deadline.
For me, and it's nothing personal, I just think based on the way the contract is designed and the way he's played, which is well, I think it's Brandon Bass. I just think that he's a player that A, can help out a lot of teams, especially contenders. B, his contract isn't that bad. I think he's going to get paid $6.9 million next year. Next year's his last year. The reason why the Celtics would trade him is the reason I just said. He's going to get paid $6.9 million last year, and I think the goal for them is what it has been, to free up some salary cap space. His contract runs out sort of at a time where they're not going to be a great team by then. They're going to have to make a decision then whether to re-sign him or if before then trade him. Whether it's this deadline or next deadline, they'll have to make that decision. So I just think that the most likely guy is Brandon Bass. So do you agree, or do you want somebody else?
Bass is obviously an easy choice there.
Right.
Humphries is the guy I'll bring up. He's kind of in the same ilk there of a good, serviceable power forward. It's going to get you rebounds, going to hit a mid-range jump shot for you. And he's a different scenario contract-wise than Bass because he's about around $11 million this year, but that's it though.
Which is why I don't think they do it though. I mean, what's the point of them doing it? He's coming off the books. They have to
get draft picks. They
have to get $11 million
some sort
back,
of future
though.
value. Sure. Well, maybe they get another guy. Well, the scenario that was floated around.
You're not going to get a first round. You're not going to get a first rounder for Humphries.
Well, you can get a late first round pick, maybe. I mean, you never know.
No chance.
It's possible. Maybe they get 2 second-round picks. See the value in that. They could get some sort. I mean, you see the way they traded away Jordan Crawford. They're not exactly looking for like supreme equal value for what they're giving up.
Well, no, I agree with you there. But I mean, the contract for Crawford and Humphries are completely
drastically different. Sure.
Which is why the trade happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't have happened with a $12 million contract.
Well, I just think if I don't get to pick Bass because you went first, you jerk.
I just don't want to trick our readers into thinking that Humphries has a good chance of getting traded, because I just don't think
he has a moderate chance of getting traded.
More so than other guys, for sure.
Sure.
And if he does get traded, then I told you so.
That's how I do it. So another guy that could get traded is Jeff Green. So C Hall 21 asked us, with the emergence of Chris Johnson, and now after he tweeted this, after he sent us this question, Chris Johnson signed that 3-year deal. So now
according to Bullpen,
the
right?
3-year deal, according to Steve Bullpen, and the team announced that he signed a multi-year deal.
Yes.
So Johnson's here to stay at least for the rest of this season. So do we think that the Celtics will be active in moving Jeff Green before the All-Star game?
So I don't think Chris Johnson has anything to do with it, to be completely honest. I mean, it's a great story, and I'm glad that he earned that contract, and he's going to play well for them.
He's a second backup, basically.
Exactly. I mean, he's a guy that, he's good to have. It's an unguaranteed contract, so, I mean, what that tells you is he's going to have to earn it again next offseason, next summer league and all that stuff going into the next year. If they can get something that they want for Jeff Green, they'll do it. Jeff Green is making roughly $9 million next year and the year after. Celtics aren't going to treat it just as they don't want to just do a salary dump for Jeff Green. They're not trying to get a $9 million expiring deal back and say, see you later, Jeff Green. I think they want something in return, whether that's a first-round pick. We were just talking about first-round picks. Can't get that for Humphries. Can you get it for Jeff Green? Maybe. I didn't say maybe you could. Depending on the team who you're trading him to, depending on the year of the first-round pick. But yeah, is he a guy that they would consider trading? I think they would. Like we said earlier, they're trying to shave cap space, and you don't want to just trade everybody on your team, but at the same time, if you get the right deal back in your rebuilding, and you think you can get another piece to help that speed up that rebuilding process and flip it in another trade for somebody else, then you do it.
Well, he is not that bad of a contract.
Right.
We thought he was a couple years ago. Then he's obviously not living up to the standards that we have for him, despite what Danny Ainge says. Clearly, he has the talent to be a 19 and 20-point scorer. He's 3 points below that, which isn't terrible, but you watch him play, he's clearly not on a consistent basis the guy you want him to be.
You would just think on a bad team that he would.
Exactly, you think so. And I mean, $9 million will get you about 16 to 18 points a game nowadays. I mean, that's kind of the paying rate for a scorer.
Right.
You look at Rudy Gay scoring a little bit more than him, and he's getting paid twice that.
Right.
So Jeff Green
Not
isn't,
exactly a great contract,
yeah,
though.
and they're similar players, but Jeff Green's not like an albatross contract. He's not unmovable.
No,
he's
absolutely
playing
not.
close to the value that
Not
he's
Theo
being given.
Ratliff's expiring contract. No, I agree with you. That's why I say they don't just want to dump him for, you know, and he's making $9 million. That's not bad. It's kind of like similar to Bass, except it's a little more money and a little more commitment. But you're getting more. You're probably getting a more, obviously. I guess we could probably agree, offensively inclined player in Green. But yeah, I think it's in the same mold. I would think that Green has a good chance of getting traded, just like you think Humphries does. I think they're maybe in the similar mold in terms of probability. I would put Bass a little higher than that. But yeah, I think Chris Johnson, good player. I don't think that how he plays has any bearing on whether or not they trade Green.
Okay, so quickly, those three guys. Bass, how likely is he going to get moved?
75.
75. Right, I'd say it's 65.
Okay,
And
70
then
it is.
Humphries, I'd say about 35%
yeah, I was
chance.
gonna say less than 50, so
Okay.
30, 35.
And then
30.
Jeff Green, I'd say it's like a 28% chance.
I was gonna say
I
20.
really don't think he's as likely to get moved
No,
as people think he is.
I was gonna say 20, something like that, because it depends. I mean, if a team comes calling for the right deal, they would do it. I don't think they're actively trying to trade him. Like, I think they're okay with keeping him right this season.
He's got 3 years left on his deal,
Right.
so it's not like they have to trade
Exactly.
him this year. They don't have to
They
clear
can
space.
trade him in the offseason.
Yeah.
They don't have to trade him by the trade deadline.
And based on how their salary structure is, they're not really looking to be players in this upcoming offseason. It's more 2 years from now is when cap space is going to be a really big deal.
I would think they really would like to know who they're going to draft, and
Sure.
that would be a huge help into what they do next.
Yeah.
Who they trade, who they
But
keep.
you only get about 2 days between the draft and free agency.
Exactly.
So that's how
You don't
it
get
works.
much.
All right. Well, very quickly, we only got a minute left. So baller and boxer.
Okay, well, baller is obviously Jared Sellinger. I mean,
That's
with the
easy.
career high 31 points, 15 rebounds against DeMarcus Cousins. Celtics win. The past few games, he's really been a different player than he was in that little slump there. So I think he's kind of turned that corner, and he's going strong into the All-Star break, which is a really good sign. So he's my baller. And my stat is 21 second chance points for the Celtics, 10 of 14 from the floor. I mean, that's a huge number in a game that they won by 10. So.
All right. Well, Solinger's easy, and then 3 technical fouls. There never really seems to be any techs. Never really any beef, but tonight, the beef edition of the Garden Report.
right.
But Isaiah Thomas, Jared Bayless, and Gerald Wallace got a tech for some reason.
I didn't even know
We couldn't really tell.
That.
Maybe the broadcast was more clear about it, but we couldn't really tell what that was. Maybe he was just pissed off that he didn't get his triple-double.
It could have been it.
1 basket, 1 rebound away from his first career triple-double. But you know what? It's in the bag. We got 1 more game against 2 more games. We got the Mavs and then the Spurs. Then the All-Star break.
Texas two-step.
That's right, and it comes to Boston. So we will see you for the Sunday edition of the Garden Report against the Mavericks. For Jimmy Toscano, I'm Jared Weiss. Make your donation to Michelle's Place. I'm going to check with each and every one of you to make sure you donated. So please make that donation. Keep sending us questions in the Twitter bag.
Yes.
We'll do hashtag Garden Report. We'll get that bag up and running.
At Jimmy_Toscano.
And at CLNS Jared Weiss, or _ Jared Weiss. That's it. Garden Report's over. See you later. Do whatever.